So, okay.
All right. Well, thanks guys for taking time out of your busy schedules and hopping on to tonight's Zoom call. I'm Caitlin Barthol. I'm the ag agent, so a lot of you guys work with me if you have some livestock that the kids are showing. Karla.
And I'm Karla Hightower. I'm the 4-H Youth Development Agent for the Meredith District. And, welcome. I think I recognize most of you. So welcome to our 2026 Miami County 4-H or Fair 4-H update.
All right. Looks like you got to change the slides.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Sorry.
Okay, you're good. So,
Oh,
go ahead, Karla.
yeah. I was like, I was supposed to go first. I'm sorry. Okay, so we want to kind of go over the fair schedule, and I'm going to probably do this in a little bit more in depth than what we have maybe for some of you that have been around, you might not need it this in depth, but I've always had a lot of questions on, what we do and how to do things. So, anyway, we kind of are going through the whole schedule this time. And starting with Saturday, July 11th, is our at 9 a.m. is our 4-H dog show. And I think if I remember right, you have to be there by 8 or 8:30 to register, and that will be in the fair book as well. So that's check in, and with the dog show starting at 9. And then at 9 a.m., we also have our 4-H shooting sports shotgun, and that's actually at Hillsdale uh, gun
Gun range.
range. Yeah, gun range. So, but that dog show will be actually at the fairgrounds. And then if you go to Sunday, July 12th, we have at 1 p.m. is 4-H shooting sports archery at the fairgrounds. They're usually in that soccer field area. And then Monday, July 13th at 9 a.m. starts our 4-H fashion review judging at the First Baptist Church there in Paola. So this is where if your kid is in the or your 4-H member is enrolled in the sewing and textile design project or the shopping with style project, they can model their outfits in front of a judge and get critiqued on the fit and all of those. So it's a lot of fun. I encourage anyone to come and check it out. And if you're interested in maybe doing it in the future, but not sure what to expect, if you can stop in that day, you can kind of see what we do and how it runs and all of those things. And then on Wednesday, July 15th at 6 p.m. is our 4-H shooting sports air rifle. That will be in building 3 at the fairgrounds. And Thursday, July 16th, we do it at 6 p.m. for 4-H shooting sports BB. And that's in building 3 at the fairgrounds as well. And those are all kind of pre-fair things that happen before the fair really starts, because our officials' first day of the Miami County Fair is going to be Saturday, July 18th. And we are going to start with 8 a.m. with the 4-H pet show check-in, I think, and I think it starts like at 8:30. One of the things that I do need to say is the 4-H pet show has actually changed location. We've had several years where we've had, I wouldn't say complaints, but concerns. That's it. Concerns about some of the loud machinery going back and forth as we're setting up for fair. And so we're trying a new location. They've offered the rabbit barn for us to have it in. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more out of the way of the machinery, putting up the shade cloths and taking tables and different chairs and other things back and forth between buildings. I know we still will have to get into building 4 that's right there, but hopefully the rabbit barn will be a little bit better for that. So that will be in the rabbit barn instead of the show arena. 9 a.m. we have cleanup and setup, and we encourage all of our 4-H members to come and help do that. We are basically putting up all our display items. We're also doing cleaning things up. We're putting up tables. We're taking things out of storage. It just would help a lot if we have a big crew. It gets done really quickly, and then we can move on to other things, because we do have a full day on Saturday of things going on as well. We did move the fishing skillathon to 1 p.m. And part of that reason was just because of trying to do the cleanup and making sure we had plenty of people to clean up. And also, I think it was kind of disturbing them having people. We can't be quiet moving tables and chairs and display cases and all of that. It's really hard. And so I'm hoping, usually we get cleanup done around noon. So I'm hoping having a 1 o'clock fishing skillathon, and that'll be 1 o'clock check in with um, probably starting soon after that. And then, as usual, 2 o'clock is our 4-H bicycle derby. And then that evening, 5 p.m. is Barnyard Olympics presented by our leadership team for the Miami County 4-H leadership team. There we go. Okay, so moving into Sunday, July 19th, we have our 4-H and FFA horse show, which starts at 4 p.m. And then 3 p.m. is the horse show entry. So if you have anybody who's doing that type of thing. And then really Mondays when we kick off our long days at fairs. So Monday, July 20th, we start at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. for 4-H visual arts, photography, foods, and food preservation. And just to kind of give you an overview of how this works is you will come in at any time between 8 and 11:30, and you will bring in your visual arts, and we'll have different stations set up in building 2, which is our kind of our 4-H building. We'll have a visual arts place, we'll have a photography place, and a food preservation place. And you go and check in at those stations, and then they will line you up to sit with the judge, and you'll get your things judged. And then if you need to move on to the next one, you go on the next one. Or if you have different kids, sometimes they can be waiting in line in one spot and another spot. I know it's kind of hectic, but there is kind of a rhyme and reason to it, and it does seem to flow pretty well for the most part because we're usually pretty done by 11:30 a.m. The other thing that is a change from previous years is that 8 to 11 a.m. 4-H and open poultry entry. We've always had the poultry entry from 8 to 11 a.m., but we are also we have to do pulmonary typhoid testing, the PT testing this year. And we are doing that during that time period as well. All birds have to be tested, I shouldn't say all birds. I don't think waterfowl have to be tested, but all of your poultry exhibits have to be tested before they can actually be allowed to show. And our state vet actually recommended that we do it during check-in, and that way you're not having to bring your birds and we don't miss somebody. So, but make sure that you do plan to have your birds there between 8 and 11. We are not going to be able to let you, go, oh, I can't get back and I'm there at noon or something like that. We're going to have to plan and do some, you're going to have to plan a little bit and do a little bit more finagling to make sure that you're there between 8 and 11. Then from 1 to 3 is 4-H sewing and textile design, shopping with style, interior design, and fiber arts. That will be in building 2 as well. And it's just like the 4-H visual arts, photography, and foods. Although usually we actually kind of combine our 2 departments on that, all those departments together. And they have like 3 or 4 judges that will do at least the sewing and textile and shopping with design and the interior design and fiber arts. So, and then 2 to 3 p.m. is check-in for 4-H judging contest. You don't have to have completed the contest, but you have to be checked in during that time period. And some of the judging contests that we have what we call consumer judging, entomology judging, photography judging, and horticulture. And some of these are just pictures. There's different things you do in the class, like consumer judging. You'll have a scenario and 4 options to maybe buy, and you've got to pick out which one's the best for that scenario. And just like in livestock judging or any other kind of judging contest, you pick your top, and then you rank the other 3 underneath those. So whatever your top one, your second place one, your third place one, and your fourth place one. Photography is the same as that. Entomology, I think, is more like a skillathon type thing. There's some ID and some different things with that. And then horticulture is an ID contest as well. So it's pictures of the different plants, and you have to identify them. And then I think there's a little quiz as well. And then, so I encourage all of our 4-Hers to take place in one of those photo judging or 4-H judging contests on that day and see how well you do, because it is a good learning experience. And it's also a check mark on your PIN applications at the end of the year if you're trying for those. A new thing for this year is 5 to 7 p.m. is rabbit check-in. It is also on Tuesday morning, but they added a evening option if you would like to bring your rabbits in before the craziness of Tuesday. And then 7 p.m., we do have the public fashion review, which I kind of talked about how the judging went. Well, this is the opportunity for our 4-Hers to actually model in front of everybody. Anyone can come in and watch them. We have scripts that they have wrote, and we have MCs that actually announce the kids and read the script while they are on stage. It's a decorated stage and everything. And we have a lot of fun with it. We try to do some silly things as well with those things. So I encourage everyone, that's the other thing, if you can't make that Monday judging, but you still want to learn a little bit more about fashion review and maybe those sewing within textile projects or the shopping with style project where you buy the clothes, come to that public fashion review as well. Okay, I'll turn it over to Katelyn.
All right, so I know Karla mentioned Tuesday can be pretty busy. So yes, we have several things going on Tuesday, July 21st. So those livestock exhibitors, a lot of your animals are coming in that morning and have to be on the grounds that morning and get weighed in that morning. So 7 o'clock, those swine exhibitors, those swine got to be on the grounds and checked in with your superintendents. Sheep, meat goats, and dairy goats, if dairy goats are stalling all week. From 7 to 8:30, you guys will be going through vet check there in the north parking lot, just like we did last year. And then you come down and unload, and then see where we are with weighing in all the rest of the animals. But also from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, those rabbits are getting checked in as well. And then about 7:30, we are kicking off weighing in those livestock exhibits. So we'll start off with swine. And once we get done with swine, go to beef, go to sheep, go to meat goats. And then those bucket calf exhibitors, if they are wanting to get weighed, they can come in after everybody's gone through. They don't have to, but it is a good thing to know what your bucket calf weighs in case that judge asks you when you're in that consultation interview. So that and your ag agent likes to see all the little bucket calves. She misses her little bucket calves. She loves them, but misses them. Yeah. While all of that stuff outside is going on from 8:30 to 11:30, you're also going to be doing a lot of 4-H exhibits there in building 2. So ag mechanics, astronomy, your building block engineering, electronic, entomology, forestry, rocketry, small engines, wildlife, woodworking, and a lot more. Robotics, booth and banners, agronomy, floriculture, horticulture. I believe those are all going to be in building 2 and building 3. So you got to make sure you check the fair book on which building you're checking things in. So yes, a lot of stuff happening on Tuesday morning.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yes, you can. I saw you unmute yourself.
I was gonna say on that, just like I kind of told you we're gonna do judging. They're very similar to how we do judging on Monday of what we call static exhibits. So the indoor exhibits, where you will check in with a superintendent at different station, departments. We call them departments. So if you have an ag mechanics project coming in, you'll check in with that superintendent, and then you'll kind of wait in line for the judge. If the judge is going to be a while, you can go to another one and try them, because maybe there's not as much of a line at miscellaneous as there is with our engineering and technology judges. So wherever you need to do, booth and banners will be in there too, and you just go back and forth. So that's kind of how we do the judging. You check in you get judged, and amazingly, it all works out still. We all get judged by 11:30 or shortly after, just like we have on Monday as well.
No, good point. That kind of reminds me too to probably go a little more in depth on the check-in process for livestock. So, sheep and meat goats and dairy goats, if you're stalling all week, for dairy goats, you guys will kind of get checked in when you go through that vet check up there in the north parking lot. So when you guys go through vet check, please, I know it's great having those blankets on those animals, but please, when you're in line, go ahead and take those blankets off those animals. So once you guys get up to the vet, then that process just goes quicker. So Chance Hager is the superintendent for those animals, and he'll be up there. Find him, check off the ear tags that you guys brought to make sure they match up with what you guys entered, and then you guys can go down the hill and unload and get to your stalls. So same with swine. When you guys get on the grounds, find Michelle Menifee. She'll have that list and she'll check you guys off. Same with beef and dairy cattle who are stalling the entire week. You guys need to be checked in and on the grounds by 9 o'clock that morning. So usually we have a table there on the south side in kind of row A or alley A, clear down there, that our superintendents will be down there and checking you guys in as well. And when you guys come down to weigh in, kind of make sure your ear tags are all clean so we can see those and get those wand. Hopefully our wand works like it did last year. I think that worked pretty well for those who went through it. So that's kind of how checking in and weighing in will go for all those livestock exhibitors that morning. 9 o'clock, poultry and pigeon and doves. Your guys' show is actually starting at 9 o'clock that day. So be ready for that. From 9 to 11:30, performing arts are being entered and judged. I believe building 2 is where that's at. Yep, Carly's shaking her head. So building 2. Any of our 4-H and open class bucket calves, if they're stalling all week, they got to be on the grounds on Tuesday by 10 o'clock and checked in with McCrae's. So all livestock have to be weighed in by 10 o'clock. So, we will work with you guys. So if you're coming in that morning and you got a flat tire or something, call us, let us know. But we want all the livestock to be weighed in by 10 o'clock, especially sheep and goats, since we got to get those show programs put together ASAP, since they show later on that night. Booth and banners. The judging will take place there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Entry and judging for those Clover Bud entries will start at 1:30, I believe, in building 2.
Yeah, building 2 and Booth and Banner will be in building 3. And we do need to think about Booth and Banner. Just realize that we also are starting to set up for open class entry that evening as well. So we need to share building 3 as much as possible and make sure that we want you to be able to come and talk to the judge, but we also need to help make sure that we have lanes for people to get through and that type of thing as well.
Yep. And then, like I mentioned, that evening we are kicking off our livestock shows with our sheep show at 6 o'clock, followed by the meat goat show at 7. So yes, Tuesday is quite the full day, but hey, it's fair time. It's chaotic, but we love it, right? We love fair. So, yep, keep going. There we go. So Wednesday, we keep rolling along. 7:30. If there are dairy cows or dairy goats that are not stalling, they're just coming in the day of and showing, they need to be checked in by 7:30, because their show will start at 8 o'clock with the dairy cows, and then we'll roll right into dairy goat show once dairy cows get done. 8 o'clock is also when those rabbits start getting shown. So they'll be shown over there in the rabbit barn. Bucket calf exhibitors, that consultation interviews, they will be starting at 8:30. When you check in on Tuesday with McCrae, I believe you can still either he assigns or you select a time for that interview time. So I'm not quite sure where those interviews will take place. I know they've taken place in the back of building 2 in previous years, but we may try and find a more quieter spot for them. So we'll let you guys know if we do end up moving those and where those interviews will be at. 10 o'clock is when those bucket cows will be shown out there in the livestock arena. Now, the evening, we have a new activity event for you guys. I'm going to let Karla talk about it.
Yeah, that's supposed to be 8 p.m., by the way. I realized we forgot the PM on there. But 8 p.m. is our 4-H leadership team, Miami County 4-H leadership team is rolling out something new instead of kids fun night. They want to do a family fair scavenger hunt or bingo card or something. I'm not sure exactly. They're still working out some of those details, but the gist of it is going to be you can go around the fairgrounds. You're going to have a card or something and some different locations that you need to find at the fairgrounds. And you'll go around the fairgrounds and find those locations and get a stamp or have something that you need to, maybe it's answering a question or something like that. And then come back and there'll be some kind of prizes that you can enter for drawings or just get if you fill out your card and bring it back. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's a great way of also showcasing some of our 4-H projects by, showing our families, especially families outside of 4-H, what all can be done and what some of the things we can do in 4-H. So if you're available that evening and, want to help out, you might want to, be kind of closer to some of your animals because they might be in that scavenger hunt. Or if you want to be, if you're really into foods and want to be in the foods area of that, so you can help answer questions or help guide them. I know we'll have some of our leadership team around the fairgrounds as well. But if you're interested in helping with that, let us know, and I'm sure we can find a spot for you to help and talk about your projects and make sure that people realize what all we do in 4-H and all the hard work that comes before fair. Because I know sometimes they see those projects at fair and they just think they magically appear and they don't realize we've been working on them since last October. So, okay, so maybe not October, but sometimes. But
No, that sounds like a really fun addition when the leadership team was like, we want to try something. And Karla was pitching the idea to Kathy and I, and we're like, yeah, let's try it. So at least you got agents who are excited. I hope everybody else is too. So Thursday, July 23rd, we keep rocking and rolling with our shows. We are starting at 8 o'clock in the morning with our swine show, and then 6 o'clock that evening with our beef show. So please start praying for nice weather for county fair so it's not a downpour like it was last year. I think if we all start like sending good vibes for county fair, we're going to have amazing weather. So please start now. That's my hope. And then at 10 o'clock on Thursday p.m. is when your project and livestock auction forms are due. We'll talk about this here in a couple slides, but we cannot push this hard enough. Those auction forms, no matter if it's a livestock or a project, please get those in sooner rather than later. So once you know your results on your project or what animal you're going to be selling, the sooner we have those turned in, the quicker we can get the sale bill put together and out for everybody. So Friday, July 24th, we have our livestock judging contest out there in the show arena. 9 o'clock is about registration time, and we get rocking and rolling about 9:30. So you don't have to pre-enter for that. You can pre-enter the day of. It's just a fun time for those kids to kind of evaluate their livestock and kind of give their own reasons on why they think they placed it that way. And it's just a fun thing for those kids to be able to judge the animals themselves. Then 6 o'clock that evening is our round robin showmanship contest. And then 10 o'clock, all non-auction livestock and animals can be released to go home. We did that last year and seemed to work pretty well. Now, I will mention if your animals don't go home at 10 o'clock on Friday evening, they won't get to go or be released until after 1 o'clock the next day on Saturday. When exhibits get released, because we don't really want extra activity trailers stuff going on when we are doing the auctions, the sales. So Saturday morning we start things off with the yummy Chris Cakes breakfast at 8 o'clock, and we roll right in right at 9 o'clock with a project and livestock sale. So we'll see how long that goes, and about 1 o'clock is when the rest of the exhibits, so all the static and all the animals that did not go home the night before, can go home. So 2 o'clock is when we really need you guys. I know it's been a long week. You're ready to take stuff home, but we really do need you guys to stick around and help clean up the fairgrounds at 2 o'clock. And then from 3:30 to 5:30 is when ribbon premiums will be handed out.
And just a little bit on that club cleanup, we do assign each club an area. So just kind of go with it wherever your club is. And the more people we have, the better it is. Because at that time, we're like taking down all the things we put up on Saturday. You're cleaning out the livestock barns. You're cleaning out the rabbit and poultry barns, and getting everything kind of put away so it's ready to go for next year's fair. And the more help we have, the better off we are, and the quicker we can get it done. And that 3:30 premium, we hope to have at 3:30. I think it will be 3:30 because we're usually pretty quick about if we have a lot of help and we can be quick about getting those clubs, we can get 3:30, but they will hold our premiums until we have the buildings cleaned. So just to kind of let you know that too, that 3:30 is a guideline. We hope it's done that way. It usually is. But if everyone decides to go home and not stick around, then it's probably not going to be 3:30 that they're available.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about auction forms. So project and or livestock auction forms, they need to be turned in by 10 o'clock on Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. on Thursday. But please get those turned in as soon as your show is done, as soon as your static event or project is judged, and you know, because I know with project auction, it's kind of the first, that's how you get lined up. So the sooner you get those turned in, the earlier you get to sell your item. Go ahead, Karla.
I am going to jump in here. If for some reason you need to be later in the project auction, we can work around that. Go ahead and you don't have to keep your forms. You can go ahead and turn it in, because I know sometimes I've had in the past where somebody, maybe wasn't able to be there quite early, or and I think we're actually going to be rotating into the sale as well. So we might not be the first thing that's sold this year. So just kind of want to let you know that if you do need to be a little bit later, or you have, because you have something else going on that Saturday morning or something, we can make that work. I think that was more Friday afternoon that we had the problem with it, but just, you can go ahead and turn it in, and we'll just make a little note that says you need to be. But yes, project auction is basically, we start numbering them, and that's your sale order that you go into. But there's really no reason to wait till 10 p.m. on Thursday to turn in project auction. There's no reason to wait till 10 p.m. on Thursday to turn in your swine or your market goats, meat goats, or your sheep. Any of those. It's poultry, rabbits, the meat pins on poultry and rabbits that can sell as well. So please go ahead and get those turned in. It will just helps us. I think we'll make a lot fewer mistakes, because I think we have had some mistakes, and part of that is because we're doing it from 10 to 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're all tired just like everyone else at fair. So we make a lot fewer mistakes if we're a little bit more alert and getting most of that stuff into the sale bill beforehand. We understand that beef can't really do that because you need your placings and that type of thing, but all of the other people can get those in, and we really would appreciate it if you did get them in earlier.
Yep. And also one thing, like we need to know which animal, which livestock you are selling, but we also, just so we know where so, all the animals who come onto the grounds, we'd like to know where they're going to go. So on that livestock form, as you guys can see in this example, there are 3 extra spots on here. So you want to put down, so if you put 4 animal, if you brought 4 beef, um, you need to kind of write down all those tag numbers and circle where those animals are going. So who's being sold, who is being taken home, or if you're shipping any at base bid price, you need to circle that too. It's just more of a kind of a security kind of thing for us, so we know, okay, this animal is going home, this one's being shipped, this one's going to the auction. So you're already going to be filling that sheet out. So just add those other animals that you um, brought in. Let us know where those guys are going home.
And then one more thing, just to, because we've been doing this for at least 1 year, but maybe a couple years now. But you can do a sell for premium only, as well as a auction. And the auction is you won't receive you don't get that animal back, or you don't get that project back. On project to auction, it's buyer keep or 4-H'er keeps. So if the buyer keeps it, or you circle auction on your livestock farm, that project goes to whoever buys it, and they get to choose, which most of the time they're going to ship them for livestock, but the buyers will actually get to keep your project. If you want to keep your project, or if you're wanting to take it on to state fair or another show, then you'll want to do the 4-H'er keep or the sell for premium auction only. And I wanted to give that information in case some of you are new to our sale and do it. And the project auction is actually can be any project that you exhibit at fair. There is some limits, of course. It can't be a live on that, because then that's in the livestock. But you can only do one. You can only do a project auction or a livestock auction. So you can't do, both of those. You do either a project or a livestock auction.
Yep. Yep. And one thing also on this, if you did premium only, you're getting that premium. You're not getting that extra base amount that you would if you did the auction selection. Now, when the fair books get out, and I think we're going to be talking about that here shortly, there is all this information is listed out in the fair books. But if you guys still have some more questions on it, please don't hesitate to reach out to Karla or myself. We're here to answer any and all questions. There's no stupid questions when it comes to fair. So please email us, call us, come in. We want to make sure you guys get the right information, and there's no confusion, and you guys have a good, fun fair, especially if this is your first one.
And this is going to shock you, but we really do not like telling people no. So that's one of the reasons we really like questions, because then we can kind of work, and you know ahead of time that, but if it's against the rules or if it's in the rules. So yeah, please feel free to do questions and everything. We want it to be an enjoyable experience for all of us.
Yep. All right.
Okay, going to geology entomology boxes. There is a kind of a new rule in the past for your entomology and geology boxes. You've not been able to do any kind of closures. The only closure was slipping that piece of plexiglass into like grooves in the box. This year, they have changed that to where you may choose to include a closure mechanism on the box. While closures are not required, their use will not result in a ribbon deduction like they have in the past. And acceptable options there include Velcro strips or hook style fasteners. Closures cannot interfere with the box's ability to be displayed on a shelf and cannot be lockable. So there are some ways to kind of keep that plexiglass in place so it's not as easy to be moved. And so your geology or entomology exhibits can stay nice and not be touched or anything like that, is kind of the hope for that. But the judges still have to be able to get in the box, and that's why it cannot be lockable or anything like that. So All right, going on to another thing on 4-H entomology is you're not to put the spindle-shaped bag of a bagworm in your collection as a female example of the species anymore. I guess some people have been doing that, but the state came out with that rule, and I try really hard on a lot of the static ones, especially if they are qualifying for state, if they can qualify for the Kansas State Fair, to make sure that we follow the rules of Kansas State Fair. So you're not trying to redo your exhibit after the Miami County Fair and trying to get it ready for the state fair. So that is the new rule: no spindle-shaped bags of bagworms. I kind of talked about this again, but I'm going to hit it again because it's that important. Pleurum typhoid, which I don't think I did. There's a typo. Sorry. Typhoid testing for poultry is required for open and 4-H FFA in 2026. You will not be able to show unless you have your poultry tested. Now, I do not think it includes waterfowl at all, but those will be. We will have the state vet here and her assistant from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday, July 20th. And they will stay longer than that if they have more, if they need to test the birds. But you do need to be checked in by 11 to make sure that you are getting those birds tested. And it will be at the poultry barn. Not sure where we'll put them for sure, maybe right outside, or hopefully with nice weather like we all were hoping for and starting to wish for now. We can put them right outside the poultry barn or close to it so that they can do that. But that is a requirement. Open and 4-H FFA poultry must be pleurum tested, typhoid tested. And it's just a quick blood test. Results happen like instantaneously. And I can't remember, there might have been a charge at one time, but if it is, it's like $1 or less. So we'll get more details out about that, but I do want everyone to realize that you are going to have to do that on Tuesday or Monday morning when you're bringing in your poultry for entry. All right, exhibit form packets required. We've always had some of our exhibits that had these an exhibit form, and you have to attach it to a 10 by 13 envelope, like astronomy, our computer science, our robotics and rocketry. But now they've added it to a lot more of almost all of our engineering and technology projects that fall under that category have added it. So if you're doing ag mechanics, you would now have to do that. Building block engineering needs that. Your electronics and alternative energy, your small engines as well. And what it is a form that you can get off our website. We do not have the new ones out yet. As soon as the state gets them out, we'll get those on the website probably around the 1st of June. And you can have those exhibit forms, and then you attach them to a 10 by 13 envelope, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to put in it. But some of the things you put in is maybe your plans, like ag mechanics, you'll put in your cost of materials. Building block engineering, you might put in some pictures of yourself building, different things like that. Rocketry, you put in your launch and pictures of your launch and how, and details about when you launched your rocket. Small engines, you'll put in, cost and what all you did to repair it, those type of things. So, but I do just want to let you know that those projects do require that you fill out that exhibit form, attach it to a 10 by 13 envelope, and put the supporting materials that they ask for in that envelope. For HNFFA electric. So here's our issue. We're having a hard time getting our electric to state fair sometimes. And so I have put in a 30-inch tall because that's what will fit in the back of my vehicles for the district. So I know that this is kind of late notice for this year. And so it's not going to be necessarily enforced. It's probably going to be allowed, but you'll be noted somewhere that, hey, try to keep it under 30 or around 30 inches tall or under, or if it can lay down or something like that. But allowance for but we will be enforcing it with a ribbon placing drop in 2027. And like I said, that's just because we're wanting you, if it's optional if it goes to state fair, we want to make sure that we can actually have room to bring it and make sure it doesn't take up too much room or get damaged in the thing. So it's easier to let it stand up and have it in our vehicles and make sure it's protected. A couple of other things for the electric project is National Electric Code will apply for judging. That's a new one for State Fair as well. And that all electrical exhibits, wiring connections must be accessible to the judge. I think most of the time we do pretty good in that, but I just kind of want to remind everyone that you do need to make sure that they are accessible. You can't have them locked into a box or something where you can't find it, or build like a wall and actually run the electricity through the wall and not have like open an area at the other end so that they can see it.
All right. So with 4-H and FFA livestock, we do have a couple changes, reminders this year. So kind of the biggest change, or not change, but addition, I should say addition, is last year we had past couple years actually, we had bred and owned division for our beef department. Well, that worked well. So we actually went ahead and added those bred and owned classes to our sheep, beef, goat, and swine departments. So that is a new awesome thing, hopefully. Now, all of those bred and owned entries must meet all of these following requirements or conditions. So the exhibitor has to be the owner of the entry of that animal. The immediate family is the owner of the mom and the breeder and the breeder. Also, the immediate family has been the sole continuous owner of that entry since birth. So immediate family means siblings, step siblings, and or parents. If you have any more questions on that, I mean, I'll be glad to help you guys out. But this is all kind of on a honest system with this. So any bred and owned entries, those 3 requirements have to be met to be a bred and owned entry. Bucket calf. We used to have kind of 2 classes. We had a dairy bucket calf class and then a beef bucket calf class when you entered, but they all got shown together come county fair. So I just went ahead and deleted the dairy bucket calf class, and so it's all, when you guys see the fair book and when you guys hop online to fair entry, bucket calves are just going to be entered underneath bucket calves since they're all being shown together. I think years ago they had separation, but really ever since I started, been around, I should say, they've all been in the same class. So just went ahead and combined them, made the same class for bucket calves. And then just wanted to make a reminder with bucket calves that animals shown in the 4-H bucket calf show are not eligible to show in the open class bucket calf show, and vice versa, because those are two different departments, and the same animal can't be shown in 4-H and in open. So just wanted to send out another reminder for that. Swine. This is going to be a new one for swine. There is no maximum weight. That was one thing the superintendents brought to us. They don't want a maximum weight, but there still is a minimum weight of 220 pounds to be able to sell in that livestock auction. So if you're, we'll still have our lightweight classes if you're under that 220, but we have no maximum weight. So it's 220 pounds and up come county fair. And then we had some questions in the past, so I just wanted to have some clarification in the beef department. Registration papers is a yes for breeding heifers. If you want to be in with breeding heifers, you do have to have registration papers. If you don't, so if you have an Angus but you don't have the registration papers, she's going to go and cross. So and then for market beef, you do not have to have registration papers. So that's kind of been brought up in the past. And so just wanted to make sure we got that out there and clarified that breeding heifers, yes, you got to have registration papers. Market beef, you don't. Just a couple reminders for some deadlines coming up. YQCA, that deadline is June 15th. Yeah, you might be thinking, oh, that's just over a month away, month and a half away. Nope. Let's get that done, guys. or you will be getting emails and stuff from me come June. So go ahead and get those done. So if you are showing breeding and or market beef, swine, meat, goats, and sheep, you guys have to get that YQCA training done. It is a yearly training. Good lands. Wednesday, May 27th at 6:30, I will be hosting the last in-person training at the Payola office. So go ahead. You guys have an email in your inbox. I think I sent that way back out beginning of March or into February that has all the details and that has all the links for YQCA. You can do it in person for $3 or you can do it online for $12. If you guys do the online course, please email me your certificate of completion. That tells me that you guys got that done. Again, please get those done. Deadline's June 15th, and I do start sending emails out to make sure that you guys get those done because you put time, money, sweat into these animals already. I don't want to say, no, you can't, they can't bring them to the fair because you did not get your YQCA done. So please get that training done. It's not hard. Horse exhibitors, just a couple deadlines for you guys. Horse ID papers, they are due June 1st. So let's get those in. And then you do still have to complete that horse safety webinar and then first. So you do have a little time to get that done, but still, when you do get those done, you get that email confirmation saying, hey, this is your score. Excuse me. Please forward that email on to me so I know that you guys have completed that required safety webinar and quiz. It's not that hard, guys. Go ahead and get all of those done. Some other reminders. Fair books. Yay, they are at the printers. Not the office, the printers. So we will let you guys know when they are available for pickup. We will be sending emails out and saying, hey, they're here for you. I did get a snapshot of the front cover, so that's what it looks like this year. I don't know what color they might be. I don't know if they're just say white. I don't know. But they are at the printers. We're hoping to get them in the next couple weeks, but we will see. Fair entry. We are still using the online fair entry system. That will be open on June 1st, and that will close July 1st. So you have that month to get everything in. For new families, we have some really good step-by-step instructional videos on our Meritazine website underneath the fair section. For everybody, those videos, I made those a couple years ago, so the dates and stuff that are in those videos are obviously not current, but all the information, the step-by-step examples should get you guys through the entry process. Again, on fair entry, if you guys have questions, let us know. So, yeah, go ahead, Karla.
One of the things I do want to say is remember that you can only enter 4, but if you think you're going to bring 4 in a department, because that's kind of our limit for 4, be sure and go ahead and enter them. If you're going to be in showmanship, be sure and go ahead and enter it. You can always drop things if you don't end up bringing them. It's easier to drop than it is to add. So, and we really do need everything in there by that July 1st. It just helps us in the office so much getting ready for fair because we print all those entry cards off of that system. And then that's what you're going to pick up from the superintendents when you check in at those departments. And we do books for tabulations so that that go back, that basically get filled out from the judge and the superintendents and the helpers at fair. And then they get taken back to our office and they're put in a system and it says, okay, then you get $25 because you had 3 blues and a red or something like that, So that's how they do that premium tabulation and all that. So that's why it's so important that you go ahead and get those entries in July 1st and that we have a good idea of what is coming and that you have those in the computer program.
Yep. No, that's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, we get July 1st is kind of a good couple weeks before fair kicks off. But if you guys think you're going to be bringing something, put that maximum entries of 4 in. Now, like with livestock, you guys get 5 entries. That fifth entry or section is for your showmanship. So please don't try and slide another livestock in, because that is one thing that we all do at the office is we have to approve those entries when they get submitted. So we go through, we make sure all the tag numbers match up to what has been tagged in the springtime, and to make sure that you have 4 livestock, and then that 5th one is showmanship. Now, I know with bred and owned classes, those are going to be extra classes. So please put in your breeding and your market classes. And if you need to enter a bred and owned, but you're already at your maximum entry, shoot me an email and say, hey, Katelyn, this market hog is a bred and owned. Here's a tag number. That way I can get you in on the backside, but you guys will only have those 5 entries that you'll be able to do with your livestock. So if you're bringing 4 animals, 4 beef, you can enter the 4 beef, do the 5th entry as your showmanship. But if 2 of those are bred and owned, shoot me that email with those details, and I'll get you guys added in. Just to do a little example, I guess, on that. So, sorry.
Okay, we are up to questions. What questions do you have? Is there questions that you have, or anything that you'd like to know a little bit more about? This is your time. You can unmute yourself to ask questions, or you can drop them in the chat, whichever way you're more comfortable with.
Or if you think of a question later on, shoot us an email. Like we said earlier, we want fair to be a fun time for you guys. So if you're confused on something, if you're not quite sure how this rule reads, or this class or this department is, let us know, guys. We're here to make sure you have a fun, good experience at county fair.
Ditto. Yeah.
I don't think Karla and I are that scary, but we do appreciate you guys putting up with us, I guess.
Yeah, we want to have a fun fair, and I always enjoy watching our 4-Hers get so excited about how they did and tell me stories about it. So that's the joy of it for all of us, I think, because I know several of you on here are also superintendents and helpers and volunteers as well. So, but with that, thank you all for getting on to here tonight. I hope it helped kind of give you some ideas on what's going to happen at the 2026 fair. And, I appreciate you taking the time to do it. So, and I appreciate you taking the time to help, and I will be looking for more superintendents. So be looking for those emails coming out. If you'd like a chance to help out and learn a little bit more about some of the behind the scenes and help take exhibits and entries and things like that and get them judged. It takes a lot of us to put on the Miami County Fair and make it a meaningful experience for our youth. And I think we do a good job of that, but I know it does take a lot of effort and a lot of volunteer. And I do appreciate that.
Yep. We can't do without our volunteers. So thank you guys.
All right. With that, I think we're done.